Paper 3 will be using the 2024 pre-release booklet on England's housing challenge, as well as your understanding of fieldwork. In this video, I'm going to summarise everything you need to know going into that final GCSE geography exam for 2024. Welcome to the final GCSE geography exam for 2024. You're going to be taking paper 3 on Friday the 14th of June in the morning session. This year the exam has been extended to an hour and a half and it's still worth 76 marks. Now this is following feedback that AQA have gotten over previous years to make sure students have enough time to complete the paper.
Going into this exam, you should be aware that paper 3 is broken into 3 sections. The issue evaluation section uses the 2024 pre-release resource booklet on England's housing challenge. When moving on to the fieldwork section, you need to demonstrate your understanding of generic or unseen fieldwork, as well as your own personal fieldwork you should have conducted. The first section concentrates on the pre-release resource booklet that was first available on Friday the 22nd of March 2024. You should have received this from your teachers and already started to do your own independent study.
This year's resource is looking at England's housing challenge and the specific example of the Tudeley Village Development Project. Now, I recently visited Tudeley and made a specific video going through the 2024 pre-release. So click on the link above or in the description for a more in-depth outline.
The pre-release resource booklet has 3 figures that are spread over 6 pages. A blank version of this document will be given to you in the exam room to accompany the exam paper. You will then be able to refer to the document when answering questions on this issue. Figure 1, England's housing challenge, provides a broad overview of the inequality of housing provision across England. It then continues to highlight the debate between brownfield or greenfield site development, as well as the growing challenge of urban sprawl. Figure 2, the proposed Tudeley Village development, provides information on the key features of the project as well as the proximity to the surrounding countryside. Figure 3, different perspectives on the Tudeley Village development, provides more information on the sustainability of the project as well as reasons for or against the proposal. In the exam, you'll need to make your own judgment and consider all the opposing views. I have produced a lesson presentation, mock exam papers, as well as a revision template for this year's pre-release. So check out my website or the link in the description for more information.
The second part of the exam paper looks at fieldwork. Now in this section you have to apply your knowledge of fieldwork techniques to unseen fieldwork questions, as well as demonstrating your own knowledge of your personal fieldwork investigations.
You should expect to see some generic fieldwork questions that give you example data or graphs that you may need to interpret, complete, or speculate on how you would change the investigations in the future. These will probably be on topics that you have not studied, but you should be able to apply the main principles of fieldwork that you have learned about during the course. The main structure of how you conduct fieldwork will include an introduction to the investigation. You should be aware of the various methods you might use and why you would have used them. You want to link this with the reliability and validity of the data. Knowledge of how you process data and production of graphic displays of results is also useful. Interpreting and analysing what the data tells you is next, and what conclusions you can make regarding the results. Finally, the evaluation should aim to consider any changes you would want to make to the study in the future. Here are some of the important elements that you should also consider when conducting fieldwork. Primary data is collected by yourself, while secondary data is from someone else or another source. Quantitative techniques produce a numerical value, whilst qualitative involves a judgment from the person collecting the data. The type of sampling techniques used may also come up. Random sampling involves selecting a site or person to question at random. Systematic samples are taken at regular intervals, and stratified samples are taken from different groups or areas to get an overall representation. Reliability is about the consistency of a measure so will be similar if tested again and again, whilst the validity is about the accuracy of a measure and if it answers the question. When conducting an investigation, a risk assessment must be completed. This assesses the risk to the people conducting the data collection. Common considerations include the appropriate clothing worn for the environment, considering the appropriate weather conditions, appropriate equipment, supervision for younger participants, making sure there's a first aider supervising the fieldwork site, if in a city, awareness of the general public, road and traffic systems, personal safety, and meeting points to avoid participants getting lost. You also need to consider the travel to and from the fieldwork site. You should ensure you reviewed all the skills you have used throughout your geography lessons as well as in your maths GCSEs. I would focus on your confidence when looking at a range of graphs and charts. You should be familiar with a broad range of these and have some understanding of how to interpret them, and knowing how to complete portions would also be useful. I'd also be aware of all the statistical techniques you could use in geography. I would suggest you check out the AQA website to find past Paper 3 papers so you can practice unseen fieldwork questions. The last section focuses on your fieldwork investigations. The most important thing you need to know is the title of your investigations. At the start of each question, they'll ask you about either your physical or human geography fieldwork titles. Here are two examples of fieldwork investigations that my pupils have conducted. You do not get specific marks for this, but you need to give your examiner context for your answer. It is also important that you can apply your knowledge of the different sections of your fieldwork. Make sure you know the difference between methods of data collection and methods of data presentation.
That summarises everything you need to know for Paper 3 for the 2024 AQA GCSE Geography exams. Make sure you check out my Paper 1 and Paper 2 videos, as well as the specific video I created for the 2024 pre-release booklet on England's Housing Challenge. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel.